Thank you, Dr. Davis, for your welcome. At this time, we'll move to item C on our agenda, the informational items, and begin with item C1A, the Strategic Plan Quarter 3 report. Dr. Davis?
Thank you, Madam Chair, members of the board. I'd like to invite Ms. Morse to the podium to provide informational item C1A, the Strategic Plan Quarter 3 report. Ms. Morse.
Good afternoon, Madam Chair, members of the board, and Madam Superintendent. I am pleased today to bring you the report on the progress that's been made as we implement this board's 5-year community-inspired strategic plan. I'll walk you through some progress highlights you'll find in the report. You do have the full report provided for you, and it will be posted for our community on our website, either later this evening or tomorrow morning at the latest. You're now familiar with this report, as this is the third one we've done, but just to remind everybody that the purpose of this report is to outline the progress that's been made in each of the strategic actions in your strategic plan. I'll quickly just orient you again to the report, and as a reminder from quarter 2 in January, each action has a series of icons shown here in the yellow box representing the phases of the work. So each one of the initiatives and tactics has phases of research, design, invest, implement, and completed. And then each phase for each action has a little meter down there at the bottom in the box that's the percent that the initiatives fall into. So of course, with the goal of all initiatives to be completed at the completion of our 5-year phase of planning. And then in addition, you'll see, and which I'll go through today, highlights for each one of the strategic actions to show the progress that's being made, not just through the numbers on a dial, but actually with some examples of the work that's happening. So let's look briefly at each of these 5 actions to highlight the progress that's being made on behalf of the board and what you have guided us to see for our community for the future for both the district and the community. So strategic action 1, this of course is the board's direct focus on innovating for the future so that we have innovative learning experiences that provide opportunities, access, and outcomes for students. And they are well underway. And progress highlighted in this report includes the design of accelerated math pathways for students, targeted advisement in high school to increase the number of students taking AP, advanced placement courses, and then of course the initial planning for the new STEM high school set to open in 2026. We just celebrated, as Dr. Davis shared in her welcome, that our community really did come together, and you can see here the fact that together with our partners in the community came together really in a joyful way to celebrate what's possible as a result of having a STEM school opening in Henry County in 2026. It was really an unbelievable moment for us together with our partners to really talk about a state-of-the-art destination STEM high school located right there in Stockbridge. It was really an amazing event and really just got us so motivated and joyful about what's next. We have visited one STEM high school thus far to kind of learn from other communities and how they have approached this work and learn their lessons without having to learn them the hard way. And we have 2 more visits that we're taking this week to look at what's possible because, of course, we are just really ready to start the facility design and some of the program design for our STEM high school. It was a great day last week. And then to wrap up the highlights from the board's strategic action 1, we have implemented a strong literacy program at our after-school programs in elementary school. And we've held our first annual early care provider summit where we brought together the members of our community who provide early child care and pre-K for teachers or for students so that we can partner with them to ensure that we have stronger relationships to make sure our students are coming to us ready for kindergarten. And then I am proud to highlight the completion of the first annual Kaleidoscope, as Mary Elizabeth spoke to, that district art exhibit that was held at our partner gallery at Hood Street. They were so kind to allow us that gorgeous space, and it showcased really the amazing talents of our students. In case you weren't able to go, you can see here a little bit of a post view of what people were able to see and the joy again that our students were able and the pride that they had, that their teachers had, that their school leaders had of their ability to showcase the kind of talent we have in the visual arts across our community, which our community knew and asked us as we built your strategic plan to showcase it. And so having that annual art exhibit for the first year and knowing that we can have that years to come is really a credit to this board and a credit to our our community who said we need to ensure that students can demonstrate learning, not only in the traditional ways, but also when it comes to something like demonstrating fine arts skills. So I am excited to be able to look forward to this in future years. Okay, so Board Strategic Action 2, the effective leadership in classroom, advances the idea of effective leadership in classroom instruction. And really, its point is to ensure that everything we're talking about innovating in Strategic Action 1 is well executed. Most of the progress for this action is in the research and design phase, which is to be expected. A few highlights include bringing together the best practices for engagement and instruction, along with the conditions for learning, into an easy-to-use, easy-to-follow framework for teachers and leaders called the Highly Effective Classroom. Coupled with that is the design, or the continued design, really, of the attributes of a highly effective leader in order to do all of that work, with ongoing and deep professional learning for our leaders. Henry Plans, our new system of monitoring and displaying progress internally, is now being used for our strategic planning, which is the front-facing tool for lots of work that's happening with data analysis and data usage behind the scenes. We have the design in place for an academy for our support staff. And lastly, we have a design for K-12 course alignments so that it can be very clear on how standards that start in one grade roll up to the next and to the next, so that we know what's happening across the continuum of a student's learning, K-12. And we have implemented a school profile for each school that allows our community to learn more about each one of our schools, including the opportunities available to them as well as outcomes. And you can see here where you can find all of those school profiles. So you can see that at our district website, if you go to About Henry and you click on the very last link there called School Profiles, it'll take you to the ability to click through every one of our 52 schools to be able to see a report, what you see excerpted here from our Woodland Middle School friends, to tell you a little more about the school, to tell you about the mission of the school, what the highlights are, outcomes, and opportunities. So for each one of our schools, you're able to navigate right there to learn a little more about what's happening at each one of our elementary, middle, and high schools and our specialty schools. Now, connectivity clearly remains a priority for this board, and the work to expand it all lives in Strategic Action 3. In design or research in this quarter is the creation of a district mentoring program, a program to bring members of the community back to the district to prepare them to earn their high school equivalency or GED. And then focus groups are underway with families so that we can design the Henry Connects family portal in order to ensure easy access to materials necessary as parents being our partners in this work. Now, in the invest and implement phase, the work to be ready day one, as Kirk mentioned last month, really to ensure that smooth start to 22-23 is ready to go. But really, all of those systems and processes being developed for a smart start to the school year aren't just about the 22-23 school year. It's really about building systems that last and sustain long after a single year, but continue to be our process for opening school. And then lastly, at the board's expectation, we've completed the last of a series of meetings with our municipality leaders to strengthen our collaboration with the community, like you saw in our STEM experience last week. Now, this board's desire to advance the wellness of our community of learners and its employees is all about Strategic Action 4. Highlights of the progress in this area include the design of a comprehensive counseling program, as well as systems to measure the effectiveness of that program. A resource toolkit for our counselors that's available online and will soon be available for counselors in Henry Connects, along with accompanying professional development to make sure they understand how to use those tools. We held our first meeting of our School Health Advisory Council. And then underway in the implementation phase is college and career readiness, student and parent sessions with our school counselors. And we have parent sessions scheduled for just this week for insurance that we are partnering with our parents to know that they have in their hands the tools they need to help their students be successful. And then, of course, also part of Strategic Action 4 is the HVAC project that has begun for our elementary school gymnasiums and the single point of entry and buzzer system for each one of our schools. And lastly, Action 5 is all about this board's expectation for efficiency of our operations as a district and the culture that we build around accountability to high performance across all of these systems. So workshops have been held across various operational divisions. So that includes finance, human resources, operations, information technology, to really identify the current challenges that exist and define that ideal state for a future enterprise management system called on the plan the ERP system. Through the robust assessment of all of that's emerging from this initiative, the team's designing the requirements now to be able to then put out for solicitation to ensure by the end of this fiscal year that we're closer to being able to select the new system that's going to meet the needs identified during these workshops. The board's desire for clear growth and replacement planning is also underway, and an elementary facilities manual has been designed and will soon be piloted to ensure that it meets the board's needs before we move it fully forward with that. And we have investments that have been identified in the proposed FY23 budget to acquire the water flow monitoring equipment that's part of the larger energy management initiative for the district. Of course, in addition to just the progress on the initiatives and the actual strategic plan is the management of and the implementation and monitoring of the plan itself. So you can see here that both for the plan management and leadership at the district level, much has been accomplished to continue moving and working the plan forward, as well as really key work in that second set of bullets that's necessary so that we have a seamless transition from the boardroom to the classroom, from the district to school leaders, to ensure that they too understand the role of strategic planning when it comes to school improvement planning. Madam Superintendent, that completes my report on the Year 1, Quarter 3 report for our board's community-inspired strategic plan. I'll turn it back to you.